What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, you watching my spoiler chat review for Transformers Age of Extinction. This is the moment you guys have been waiting for because we're going to get into some really spoilerish, juicy details about the movie. And I'm going to be talking about this movie as a Transformers fan. Now, before I begin, I want to do a couple of really quick shout-outs. Happy belated birthday to Kenny Asbury, Alexander Sasha Novikov, Blair Thandy, and also AJ. Happy 7th birthday! You are an awesome member of the Ragin Nation. I hope you had a good time at Transformers Age of Extinction, and here you are as the human character, Kay Yager. This is a big hero moment for you, and happy birthday. And I also want to give a big shout out to a couple of local Ragin Nation members who were at the theater that I was going to on my first viewing of Transformers Age of Extinction in IMAX 3D. What's up to Roy and Chris? Thanks for representing. And also a couple of other Ragin Nation fans who are also local. Tyler, Jordan, and Cliff, who I bumped into on my second viewing of Transformers Age of Extinction. Thanks for being a part of the Ragin Nation, and thank you for all your support. And also thank you to Andrew, Jericho, Bucky, and TF Star Razor for also representing the Ragin Nation in your area by wearing my t-shirt when you're going to watch Transformers Age of Extinction. Alright, so thanks a lot for all the support. Let's talk about spoilers. Now, before I begin talking about spoilers, I just want to make a comment and just say that if you're posting spoilers in the comments section, at least make an intelligent comment, okay? I've been reading some of the comments and people have been posting empty comments. For example, spoiler alert, Lockdown dies. Spoiler alert, Optimus gets stabbed. Spoiler alert, Drift is a triple changer. That is what I call an empty comment, because nobody's going to respond to it. It doesn't generate any sort of discussion. It's just a statement that's completely empty. Like, what do you expect to get out of this? You know, are you expecting to generate conversation? Because what I'm doing in this video is to generate conversation and talk about spoilerish events that happen in the movie. Alright? By just making an empty comment means nothing. Okay? There's no thought put into it. Alright? So if you want to talk about a spoiler or make a comment, ask a question. Ask for something that you think requires an explanation, or talk about your favorite scene. Now that is spoiler chat that's worth talking about. Alright? So I just want to make that statement. Anyways, I gotta say that as a Transformers film, this is the best film to date because it gives us something that we've been missing for a very long time. We've been missing this in all of the previous films, and that is more robot screen time, more robot personalities, and more robot-on-robot interaction. Alright? Now, we're up to 4 installments now, and so we should be knowing what to expect from the same director of this franchise, okay? You know what? To be completely honest, they're all the same, except that this one is bigger, louder, and longer. Now, a lot of people were asking about how this connects with the previous one. Well, the only thing that connects it with the previous one is the references to the Chicago battle, and they keep it at that. They keep it to a complete minimum, which is something that I'm very happy about. I'm glad that they don't talk about the Sam Witwicky thing, alright? There's no need to talk about Sam Witwicky or what happened to him. I think, you know what? It doesn't matter. If you found out that he found a new job, or he started a family with Carly, or that he ended up having a baby, does it really affect the story of Transformers Age of Extinction? No. So why even bother talking about it? Talking about it would be a waste of time, so I'm glad that they didn't even bother explaining what happened to Sam Witwicky, because it's irrelevant. Another thing that I'm actually glad they didn't spend too much time with is what happened to the other Autobots. I actually think it's quite obvious what happened to the other Autobots. There are only 2 fates for the Autobots. They're either hiding or they were hunted down. Alright? And that was already explained with the fate of Leadfoot and Ratchet. They were hunted down by humans or Lockdown, or the fate of the current new Autobots, and that is they were hiding. Okay, so they're either hiding or they were hunted down. Self-explanatory. Okay, so there's no need to really talk about that. Now, speaking of the fate of an Autobot, one thing that I felt that was done really well was the fate of Ratchet. Yes, it was actually very brutal and very sad, but I gotta say that if they're gonna make an Autobot death, at least make it worth it. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, the way they did it, it was actually very, it was very heartfelt. And it was actually also, most importantly, heartfelt by the other Autobots. You know, Optimus Prime was totally enraged by it. You know, they felt very sad, and it was very hard to know this fact that Ratchet, a medic, all right, not even a soldier, was brutally gunned down. And, you know, I'm glad they put something like that in, mainly because it really adds more emotion and it has more of a an impact on the characters, all right? So that was pretty good. Now, with regards to the human characters, I'm going to be completely honest. Shane isn't really that likable, okay? His race car driving abilities are only proven useful at the beginning of the movie, all right? It was actually a pretty awesome car chase sequence. But other than that, his driving skills, all right, they're not legit, okay? He says, hey, I'm a race car driver and I'm legit. Red Bull just picked me up. Oh, so that makes you legit? Come on, man. You know what? The scenes with Shane are, honestly, they're kind of dead weight to me. It doesn't really need to be there. It could be a movie between Tessa and Cade, and it would still be the same movie, in my honest opinion, all right? Well, except for the driving scene where Shade rescues him. Everything else that follows after that, he's pretty useless, okay? I mean, come on, what did he really do? You know, there's this one scene where in Hong Kong, he told Mark Wahlberg, hey, get out of the car, or get out of the driver's seat, let me drive. Is he really that great of a driver? All he did was drive in reverse. Okay, fine. He drove in circles around, or drove one circle around Lockdown to do the harpoon and tow cable thing to pull the sword out of Optimus, okay? But seriously, come on. He's really not that useful, all right? Speaking of the car chase, I love the car chase at the beginning. It was a human action sequence, not really much of a Transformers action sequence, but it was still awesome. I like that. And I love how they intercut between the car chase between Shane and you know, the humans and the KSI guys, and also Optimus and Lockdown. I thought that was done really, really well. Okay, by the way, they should actually fire the Special Forces soldier who was the gunner in the helicopter that was shooting at Optimus Prime when he's in the rusty truck mode. They should fire him, because what did he fire, like 4, 5 rockets? And he still can't seem to hit him. I mean, what is up with that? The rusty truck mode of Optimus Prime is such a slow-moving truck that he can't even hit him? Give me a break. Okay, I guess that's why they have Lockdown, because Lockdown, okay, I'll tell you, when he threw that super grenade, you know, the super grenade, he threw it down on the ground in that abandoned warehouse area. When he threw it down, that's got to be one of the most spectacular explosions I've ever seen. Now, it was cool to see it in slow motion, but once they cut to the standard speed, and it was blowing up so fast and so close to the humans, I was literally like, whoa, that was awesome. Like, wow, that was like a really good explosion. I mean, Michael Bay did a good job with that. It was pretty spectacular. Now, with regards to Lockdown, Lockdown is the villain that we've all been waiting for. I'll tell you something, man. Lockdown is the villain that, man, no villain in the Transformers 3, the 3 films can compare to Lockdown. When that gun came out and transformed, and then, you know, when he was lurking in the waters, and we saw the gun come out in the first time, I was like, holy crap. That camera did a full 360 around him, and then in IMAX 3D, the gun just popped out at me and looked so huge, and I literally had a fanboy moment at that moment, because it kind of reminded me of like, you know, either Megatron or Galvatron, if he were sticking their gun at me, like in G1, like right up to me. That was a really cool moment, all right? That gun was huge. Now, speaking of villains, the whole Galvatron Megatron twist was pretty cool, I must admit, okay? And hearing Frank Welker speak as Galvatron, that was sweet. I just felt that Michael Bay only teased us with Galvatron. You know, I mean, that's what he did. He only teased us with Galvatron, which kind of sucks. Because when you think about it, Age of Extinction, the first film, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, Megatron, even though he's Galvatron, he never really had a true character moment, all right? He shows up in Hong Kong, all right, and then he comes and then he disappears. And he appears in the Chicago chase, but then, you know, he's still, you know, it's not really a big character moment for him. I mean, sure, it was cool that he was driving around firing missiles, but, you know, that's still not a... I felt that he wasn't given justice, and this was just teaser, which is a little bit disappointing for me. And you know what? What's very interesting? Megatron not having his moment is a bit of a tradition in the Transformers live-action films. It's a tradition. It always happens. He never has his own moment to shine. Okay? Now, speaking of Chicago, the Chicago freeway chase, okay? The Chicago freeway chase, which happens right after they break into the KSI headquarters, that was cool. That was pretty awesome. There was this great slow motion money shot where Optimus and Bumblebee like jump over these cars on the freeway and then they catch the humans. That was awesome, okay? That was like a big wow moment. So Michael Bay did a really good job with that. But even though that was really great, you know what? There was something that was missing. There was something missing a lot. And that was the other Autobots. You know, this is another tradition in the live-action films. The entire Autobot team is always disconnected. They never seem to be around when you need them, okay? Sure, Bumblebee was around to shoot a few missiles at Galvatron, but after that, they all disappeared. Optimus Prime was on his own to fend off against Lockdown and Galvatron. They're always never around. We saw Drift, we saw Hound, we saw Crosshairs on the freeway, but then where did they all go? After missiles were fired, they all dispersed and they were completely gone. They were not even there to help out Prime during a fight. Still a great scene though. Still, you know, as a whole, it was a great scene, but I think it would have been better if it made a little bit more sense and had the other Autobots around. I mean, do they just take off like that? I mean, what is up with that? Better, or is
which it really does.
The new Autobot arrival scene in this one better? I'm actually having a hard time deciding it,
harming
but
other
maybe I'll watch a
motorists.
couple more times.